Just a second, folks. I have to finish getting some things set up. I had to run my sister to Walmart, which amazingly she does it to me every time I have something scheduled. So I'm a little behind getting started here. What I'm going to do is cover some. I mentioned it, I think, on the last episode that there were several videos. I've done this same episode 3 times now. But one of the reasons it's been so long is for the last 3 months, my internet has been screwed up, which just added on top of everything else that was going on. So I did this episode 3 different times over the last couple of months, but because the internet was screwed up, it came out like crap, so I just deleted it. So let me set this up again. All right. Let's see if I got this captured correctly. No. I can't see the chat right now because my web browser's in the way, so just bear with me for a minute while I get this video ready to capture here. Where the heck did it go? I guess that's correct. Look like over here. Yep, okay. Why is it doing that? That's just crazy. No. Okay. Hi, Maria. Hi, Robin. And Sam Squatch. Dana Price, hello. Robert Nocera Jr. Okay, this first video is it's actually a very old documentary, and it's a documentary about a well-known Bigfoot researcher named Ivan Marks. Hello, Kevin. So this is in this documentary. He's very self-aggrandizing, but he talks a lot about, what he's done and how it's about how he's been wronged by the scientific community as far as his Bigfoot proof. And then he has video of a Bigfoot in there, and he talks about how everyone tells him it's a hoax. Scientists say it's a complete hoax, yet they travel around the country doing lectures, and they make money off of his video by talking about it at their lectures all over the country. I don't know. It's back in the 70s, so I don't know how true that is or not. It probably is. I mean, that's the way it goes. But I saw this video a long time ago. Probably, I don't know. It was a long time ago. Either late, like 2009, 2010, or 2012, 13, somewhere around there. And when I saw it, I watched like 2 seconds of it, and that's fake, and I turned it off. But I thought this was a video somebody else, like some other, because it was on YouTube, that some YouTuber had done and posted. And what it was he took a clip of this documentary video and posted it. So when I was on Amazon Prime Video, and I was just looking to see if they have any Bigfoot documentaries, I ran across this one, and I said, well, I've never seen that before. I actually put it on maybe 3 times before I actually watched enough of it to get to this video clip, because it's early hokey documentary style, and he talks about himself a lot, and you could have shrunk it down to probably just a 15-minute short instead of doing this whole video. But anyway, I got to this part where it's video that he took when he was out looking for Bigfoot evidence. And that's one of the reasons that that people tell him he's hoaxing it and that. But that's what and he explains it in the documentary, that's what he did. He went out and got jobs that would put him out in the woods all the time for the specific purpose of making money while he was able to look for and document evidence of Bigfoot. That's what he did for decades. That was his purpose in life. So to say, well, yeah, but you went looking for it and you found it. Yeah, but he found it after, decades. And he videoed it. So this is the video. This is the video clip right here. Hold on a second. Let me switch over. Oh, yeah, that's in the wrong place. Hold on a second. Yeah, here we go. Okay, you can tell it's an old video. I think it's a complete. No, there might be. It's back when color was really black and white with a splash of color. Yeah. All right. So here's this. We're coming up on the video now. I'm going to turn up the audio so you can hear what he's talking about, because you'll kind of get what I'm saying.
Another track I'd seen so often.
You hear the hokey music and everything. I grew up in the 70s, so I remember documentaries like this and movies that were just hokey soundtracks and that kind of thing. There it is. Now I saw that and immediately went, that fake, and turned it off. And then when I was watching this video, I said, oh, that's that fake footage that I saw years ago, right? And then, but I was going to watch the rest of the documentary, so I let it play through.
Face to face with Bigfoot.
Then, right there, that is where I realized that this isn't a fake. Look at the right foot. That is the mid-tarsal break. This is not a fake. I mean, you could say, okay, it's some kind of boot or shoe with some kind of thing on the front of it to make it look like that and all of that stuff. But this guy's walking through snow, and he's turning, and he's turning around. One time he crosses his legs over when he turns around, and at no time does he stumble. Now, if you had, let me put this back on big screen here, because just to make sure. Now, if you have an extension on your shoe that's like that long, I mean, you can tell by that picture that it's either a big foot or it's a big extension on a shoe. And you try walking like that through snow and turning and moving around and doing all this stuff, you're going to fall on your face. Now, this is one long clip, It's not broke. It doesn't, he doesn't cut it and switch to where he's walking somewhere else or something like that. It's one long clip. And at no time does this thing stumble. Now, to me, that screams genuine. It's the same thing with the Patty, the Patty footage. She walks all that way and never once stumbles, even though you can see from some of the still frames that is one big foot, or it's a boot with a long extension on it. So, not to mention, this was back then at around the same time when not everybody knew how to do this kind of special effects or whatever they might call it. But look at the size of that right foot, and it's bending in the center, which would be, if that's, let's say it's a guy in a suit. If that's the guy's foot, where that bend is, put my mouse, actually I don't think my mouse comes out in the correct spot here, but you can say about midway in the foot, that's where it's bending. Then that bend is actually behind the ball of this guy's foot. It's in front of his shin and behind the ball of his foot. Even if he has an extension, that would mean he has a really tiny foot, because in order for it to bend where it is, it would have to be bending in front of the ball of his real foot and in the middle of the entire prosthetic. Look how short a distance there is between the shin and where it bends. There's only a couple of inches. It's just not possible. So I believe that this is probably genuine. Now I'll play some more of this because he's going to replay it again. Right there. See how he's turning? You couldn't do that if you were wearing... I did scuba diving when I was in my early 20s. And just walking around with scuba diving flippers, you have to pay attention to what you're doing, which would be about the size of what this guy is wearing right now. Well, maybe a little bit bigger, but it's not easy to walk around with flippers on your feet. And that's basically what this guy would be doing. And he's turning around, and I don't think it could be done.
The domed head, just as
See him?
others have described it. A thick, dark fur to protect it from extremes of weather and allow it to pass unnoticed in the night.
Hold on, I forgot to transition back here. There you go.
But scientists challenged my film. Yet it stood up under every conceivable test. Some reveal rugged terrain as the cause of the skin heal, polio as the cause of the limp. But my documented evidence wasn't good enough for the experts. Experts who still ask, how could such a creature survive? Where does it live? Show us its remains. What is it?
I can't see your comments right now, so I'll check them in a second.
But claimed credit for my film and profited by it on lecture circuits. Well, I didn't care for these people. But I was haunted by their questions. What an experience.
Okay, now that documentary is called The Legend of Bigfoot. And if you want to go and watch it, it's on Amazon Prime Video. And if you can suffer through the hokey 70s style documentary stuff and the self-aggrandizing and all that stuff, then you can hear more about Ivan Marks and all that stuff he did. And I'll check the comments here real quick, then set up the next one. Okay, I have to scroll back a ways. As Sam Squatch, I think you have your own Bigfoot kind of thing, don't you? Your own Bigfoot channel? Are you that, or is it something Squatch? Might be Rob Squatch, I don't know. Ah, I thought so. Do you know Nicole up in New York? She told me I should contact you. She talked about. I don't know if she's contacted you too, but she talked to me a lot for a long time, and she kept telling me I should talk to you and do a joint channel thing. Are you? If you're talking to me, my name's Rick. All right, I'm scrolling back again to see what else is up here. Yeah, I'm kind of doing this more in that Twitch style, where it's kind of, if you've ever watched Twitch, they have talk show and they have in real life IRL. Because I've started a Twitch thing too, and sometime in the next few days, I'm going to set it up to where I'm simulcasting on Twitch and YouTube at the same time. And so I'm not going to be doing any more of these like my older episodes where it's kind of just to the point and that's it. I'm going to be doing like a Bigfoot brief where I talk about what's going on, at least that I can find, this week in Bigfoot kind of thing, and that kind of stuff, and also interviews and. Yeah, Sam Squatch, if it's real, that's the thing. When I first saw this, I said, "That's a guy in a suit. He's walking all messed up because to hide the fact that the suit is fake," and that's what I originally thought. But that size of the foot, the size of the shin, and then if you watch when he walks and he steps off that rear foot, I'm sure you know about the whole angle, the shin rise angle. That shin rise is a Bigfoot shin rise. It's not a human shin rise. Robert Nocera, well, in the documentary, I think you guys can hear it. He said that it's speculated that this thing's suffering from polio, and that's why it's all gimped up. Still going through the comments. Hold on. Yeah, I just wondering if Nicole had contacted you because she contacted me. We talked for a long time. She contacted me back in oh, January, February, something like that. And she hasn't called me in over a month now, which is a little surprising. But I was just wondering if she had talked to you. Yeah, that's Sam Squatch. That's exactly what went on with me. I watched about 5 seconds of it and shut it off because I'm like, come on, this is a hoax. But like I said, if you look at the mid-tarsal break and the shin rise, that alone is not possible for a human. Even if you have a prosthetic extension to make your foot look bigger, you can't fake that shin rise. Yeah, Dana, I'm finally caught up now. Yeah, he's small, and that was one of the things that made me instantly think it was a hoax because, Bigfoots are big and bulky. They're like linebackers or whatever. But he explains in the video, which in the original video I saw, which was a clip put on YouTube, there was no audio. So I had no idea what it was. I just said, it's a hoax. But now that I've watched the documentary, and he explains that he's taken this to scientists, doctors, whatever, and they explain that, it looks like he probably has polio, which would make him small because he can't hunt. He's probably malnourished. that would cause him to walk funny, to have his hands all gimped up, and all that stuff. It explains everything that to his size and posture and all of that stuff. So I mean, you can't argue with that. I mean, humans are all messed up looking when they get polio and that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'll put it on one more time. Hold on a second.
Now, a cinnamon bear in its natural habitat.
Okay. I can't slow it down. It is what it is.
Face with Bigfoot.
And there, for a brief second, if you looked at the top of his head, it almost looked like you could see thinning of his hair.
Just as others have described it. A thick, dark fur to protect it from extremes of weather. And allow it
And
to
see, he's
pass
stepping on that
unnoticed
big
through the night.
piece of branch in that. That was with the end of his foot. If that was a prosthetic, I mean, he would have fell on his ass. If you ask me.
It had stood up under every conceivable test. Some reveal rugged terrain as the cause of the skin heel, polio as the cause of the limp. But my documented evidence wasn't good enough for the experts.
Here, I'll see if I can freeze it where the shin rise is obvious. Actually, it just went by.
Who still ask, how could such a creature survive? Where does it live? Show us its remains. What does it eat? Experts who challenge.
Oh, shut the hell up and get on with it already. There we go. See if I can catch that shin rise. You see right there? His leg is almost at a 90-degree angle. I'll catch it out here in the clear a little bit. See, even right there, he's just turning around, and that shin rises. It's a little more than a human, I think. You'd have to measure it. I'm too lazy to do that, actually. There. Now look at the shin rise right there. His toes are just now rolling to come off the ground. And look at the angle of the leg. That's not a human. And his foot was still supporting his weight just a couple of inches before that, and he still had that kind of shin rise. And if that was, and look at the mid-tarsal break, that's got to be genuine. I mean, I could be wrong. I wouldn't be surprised to find out that it was just some really well done hoax. But for me, I don't think back then it could have been. They just didn't have what it took to pull a good hoax off, and I don't think they'd even thought about these kinds of details. But that's my opinion. So, what do y'all think? I'll leave. Yeah, wouldn't. Well, I don't know. You might be able to take that one out pretty good. Wrestle him to the ground, Just put some rope, because if he's all gimped up like that, I don't think he's very strong. Yeah, there's nothing. If I could see his face, like a decent shot of the face, to me, since I've seen one from 5 feet away, that to me is the what seals the deal for me. This is just going by other evidence that other, like Jeff Meldrum has talked about, and other researchers or investigators have talked about. And actually just thinking about it, there's no way he could walk the way he just walked if he was a human. I don't care what he had on his feet, unless it was a specially made, like some people, they have these things, they're like stilts, and people can run with them and stuff. those have only they haven't been around. They weren't back in the 70s or 80s. They were actually something somebody talked about once in the 80s, as I recall, and then evidently they went ahead and did it. But they weren't around in the 70s. But you would have to go to that extreme just to make it be able to do that kind of shin rise and still have pressure on his foot with that kind of a mid-tarsal break, in my opinion. Yeah, Crypto, I'll tell you what. You just get up and try to walk the way that thing just did. Guarantee you can't do it. As far as how high you bring your leg when you still have weight on your foot, and on your toes instead of the balls of your foot before you step off. I'm gonna be able to do it, in my opinion. All right, I'll set up this next video. The next one I talked about. The next one I talked about in, I don't know, I think it was last night. It's where I said it's the, there's my cat screaming for me to feed him. Where the heck is it? Oh, I see. This is not Prime Video. Wait a minute, is this it? Yeah, here we are. Okay.
No matter where you are or what's in your way, Thursday Night Football included with Prime.
As well as advertisements, evidently.
The film you are about to see is a dramatization of events that occurred in the early 70s in the hills of Rockton, Pennsylvania. To better explain the events of this film, the producers have included...
Yeah, this guy's a quality narrator, let me tell you. He cracks me up. This, I think, was made in 2012, I think.
Actual archived film and video throughout this film. This footage was acquired by Stacy Peterson, granddaughter of Frank Peterson. He personally archived over 15 hours of film and audio during the time of these events. All dramatized scenes are supported by archived film, audio, photographs, personal diaries, or as related by Frank Peterson himself in his own videos. In the end, what you believe?
It lost track. All right, there you go. Is that better? So y'all heard the guy's introduction. And basically, this is the still frame. Yeah, that's only one worth looking at. Sorry about that. I didn't realize it turned off, basically. So that's like the one behind me. The mouth, the upper lip is much longer than a human's. Deep set eye sockets and that kind of thing. Yeah, Anvil, I was confused. Now I'm not. Thanks. If you're not interested, you can always go somewhere else. Yeah, Crypto. The cone crest head is not a thing. I don't know why everybody keeps saying that. It is not a thing. the sagittal crest. I have what you could, when I shave my head bald, I look like I have a cone head. I have a look like a slight sagittal crest. You've seen people with mohawks, and now if you weren't a human and you were an alien, come down to the planet and you saw a kid with a mohawk, would you go back and report to your people that, yeah, these humans, they have a huge bony protuberance on top of their head? A hairdo, a bad hair day can make it look like that. The one that I saw looked like he was wearing a big hat like this. I didn't put it in there, but I made that more what I think his actual head looks like, because it was all fur. Yeah, thanks, Dana. It was kind of expected. She had cancer. Like gorillas, that sagittal crest is actually where their jaw muscle connects to the top of their head. So that business, which should have been in the last video I did, but evidently YouTube cut out about 10 minutes of that video because I was talking about my health. I guess they didn't like that. I don't know. Because right after I stopped, that's when my video starts. But anyway, the gorilla, the top of their head, the sagittal crest, as a bony structure, is kind of shaped like that. And the reason is because the muscle, the jaw muscle, comes up through the cheekbone and attaches to that part of the bone. And that's why they look like they have that shape to their head. It's possible that Bigfoots have a similar structure. We don't have that. Our jaw muscle connects there and that's it. It doesn't go completely up to the top of our head. It's possible the Sasquatches do, because that could be why their cheekbones come out so far. Like in this one. I'll put it up on here. Hold on. Okay, if you could look at that, look at how wide the cheekbones are, how far out from the eye sockets they go. That was something that made a huge impact on me when I was looking at the one through the window. I couldn't believe how huge their cheekbones were. That could be similar, where they have a muscle that goes up underneath like an opening in the outside of the cheekbone and attaches to the top of the head. You know, that's what gorillas do. So it may have a sagittal crest, but I've heard people specifically say it did not have a sagittal crest. So I think they might have a, somewhat coned shape head, but so do I, It's just, it might be a little more pronounced to me. And I think it could vary from one individual to another, just like humans. I mean, look at the difference between Justin Bieber and Andre the Giant. If you saw them two, if you weren't a human, let's say you're an alien, you might say, well, there's two different species of human here, because they don't look the same. Right? And I think Bigfoots are the same. They just have differences individually. I kind of don't, 0 days, I don't think that they would get larger with age, because they're probably, with primates, once you get to adulthood, your skull is formed. That's it, buddy. Like our babies, they don't have, the sutures are loose, their head is pliable. But I think it's once they hit adolescence, they're done. Those things are sealed together. I know at least by adulthood. They're sealed together, the skull is not changing at all anymore. And I think it would be the same thing with Bigfoots, that maybe when they're younger to adulthood, their skulls will change, but once they're adults, that's it. They're not going to be, say, adults at 18 years old, if that's what their adulthood is, and then develop a huge sagittal crest by the time they're 20 or 30 or 30 or 40 or 50 or whatever. I don't think that's going to be the case, but that's my opinion. You don't get into Dogman too? I mean, I might be completely wrong. I don't think that canine... I mean, I've seen dogs that stand up. We all have. You've seen the trick ones that dance. But to walk on its hind legs and have hands... that's a real big jump from a dog to a dog walking on its hind legs with hands. I just have a hard time with that. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe some crazy crap happened a million years ago or something that made all that true, but I find it hard to believe. I think there's probably just a real vicious race of Bigfoot or other species of primate. Genetic engineering. You know, our scientists aren't smart enough to be able to do that. They just aren't. They might be trying to get there now. But people talk about genetic engineering from back in the 50s and the 60s and all that stuff. They've just never been smart enough to do that. They're not even smart enough to admit Bigfoot exists. So they're not smart enough to do that. I don't believe it. I know that there are a couple of different places that exist where they did, experimentation on animals and stuff, but that was like for nuclear NBC warfare, basically. Biological warfare and that kind of stuff, where they were just messing animals up and torturing them and stuff. But yes, I could be wrong. Yeah, I'm with you, Sam Square. I don't believe in it, but I do think they are seeing something. I just don't know what it is. But I don't believe it's a canine that walks on its hind legs and has hands. I don't believe that. But they are seeing something. But the problem is, it's like what I said earlier. I was commenting back and forth with this guy who, in the end, said he hopes that I die because he's praying to God that I die, that's my first, I guess, kind of death threat so far. But, he's threatening to kill me with God. But I believe they're seeing something. I just don't believe that there's an upright walking dog with hands. And it's like I was saying to that guy. I think it's people between the lighting and the distance at which they see these things. I think it just appears that way. And there might be a race or other species of Bigfoot or primate that at a distance has features that look like that. But if you got up close to him, I think that we would find out, if we actually captured what we know is an example of a dog man and looked at it up close, I don't think that it would turn out to be a canine at all. So that's just where I stand. But yes, they are seeing something. I don't believe they're all lying. I think that they're seeing something. I just don't think they're seeing it close enough to really understand or figure it out. Wow, we dropped to 26. I lost 10 viewers talking crap about Dogman. Holy smokes. See, I can't talk about that stuff. I probably lost subscribers too. Or maybe it was the scientists and the animals. I don't know. Nantucket. I used to live in Boston, right there by Nantucket. If you're saying that that's a place where no. All that's there is rich people's boats. Yeah, I first saw it on In Search Of when I was 8, back in what would that be? 78? No. 73. I don't know. Just made myself 10 years younger. 73 or 74, something like that. All right. Well, we're starting to lose viewers. I think people are losing interest. So now, Whitehall, New York, I've heard it was a hot spot, but it isn't anymore. It's like they've moved on. Yeah, the traps. They have massive traps. People say they got no neck. Yes, they do. They just have massive traps. You know, look at Arnold Schwarzenegger. You look at him from the front, he looks like he's got no neck, right? But he's just got big traps. Or dead. Now he's just an old man like me. You know. I looked pretty good 2 years ago before all this shit happened. Now I'm gained 70 pounds, lost a bunch of muscle, can barely walk. Maria, you're saying that they're going to redo In Search Of? That would be I liked In Search Of. I liked the format, the way that they did it and everything. So dogmen are seen with tails too? I don't know. Oh, so it's already out, this new In Search Of, but it sucks? Well, that's too bad. Coast to Coast tonight? He's doing another, what is he doing? Missing 411 book 3 now? Six or seven, yeah. I don't know how many he's done now. He did the first one, then he did an East and West. He's probably doing Canada and Mexico now. I don't know. I mean, the guy puts a lot of work, evidently puts a lot of work into those books, but he's really milking it for all he can, isn't he? Oh, yeah. I think Bigfoot has taken people and eaten them all over the country in the national parks and stuff. I think that's what all that Missing 411 is about. Yep. I know that you got predators out there. I mean, I'm talking as in human predators who go out there and they go to campsites and they look to snatch kids up. And I know that happens. I'm sure it does. But the number of missing and everything, I don't think you can chalk that all up to predators. I think that a good bit of the rest of that is from Bigfoot's taking kids. The ones that aren't found, I'm going to say. Obviously, if they're found and it looks like a bear chomped on them and ate them, then you've got the answer. But the ones who are a mystery, I think it's all Bigfoot's doing. What do you want? What? All right. Yes, I know. Oh, chill out. Now, I know one thing, but I think the majority of the mysterious, like, and by mysterious, I mean like where people saw them and then within seconds they were gone. Those kind of ones. Not the ones where, well, we don't know what happened to him. But the ones like the one with the kid who went, he was playing hide and seek, went behind the bush and his father was looking right at the bush. And then the kid was gone. That is what I'm talking about. Those kinds of disappearances, I think, are Bigfoots. Because a cougar isn't going to be that stealthy. A Bigfoot will, though. I think, yeah, that's the 411 kid that the Bigfoot had up over his shoulder when he went. I think he was running along a ridge line and some other people saw him. Had the kid slung over his shoulder. Yeah, the natives, yeah. They have a long history, or verbal history, where a history of stories of Bigfoots coming and attacking their villages and taking their children and taking their the females that are breeding age and supposedly breeding with them and eating the kids and all of that. That goes back 1,000 years, 2,000 years here in the United States before we ever got here, when just the Indians were here, or Native Americans, I should say. So this isn't nothing new that Bigfoot crazy people are making up nowadays. This has been around for a very long time, that Bigfoot eat people and they rape girls. There's even one story about a female Bigfoot that took a guy and made him service her, which I find hilarious. Okay, folks, we're almost at 2 hours, and I hate to cut it off, but my dog is pestering the hell out of me to go outside. I got to go let her out. I'm going to try and get the simulcast business for Twitch, YouTube, simultaneously, going tonight or tomorrow, so that I can start doing I really want to start doing shows every night, but of course I have to take time off to drive for Uber and Lyft. To make money, because I got to make money until such time as I start making some money on YouTube. But so I'm going to try and start doing shows every night. And the nights I don't, it's because I had to go and do Uber and Lyft. But hopefully tomorrow night I'll have it set up and I'll do my first Twitch and YouTube simulcast on I don't know what, but I'll do the Bigfoot brief. That's what I'll do. So tomorrow night. So if I'm going to do that, I'll put it in the scheduling for my live event on YouTube. So yeah, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, like, tell everybody, come on in, that kind of thing. Just warn them it's not your typical 10-minute YouTube thing. This is about conversation about Bigfoot and covering topics that take more than 10 minutes. So. Okay, so all right, folks. Well, until next time, which should be tomorrow night, y'all take it easy.